New Metatron t-shirts, available through Teespring. Hello number ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking. I'd like to announce that on Sunday, the 25th of this month, on my Twitch account, link in the description below, I will play Kingdom Come Deliverance for 8 hours in a row, live, because many of you said you want to see me play it. So I will, but it won't be just a simple gameplay event, it will be a charity event as well. I'm aware that sometimes people do monetary donations to live streamers, and in my case I want to use this opportunity to try and raise some money for cancer research and to help children suffering from leukemia. So those who decide to donate during this event won't only support my channel, but most importantly we will be helping people who really need help. But I'll give you more information on that as we come closer to the date of the 25th. For now, make sure to follow me on my Twitch account. As you probably already know, I've recently made a video about Kingdom Come Deliverance, a new medieval video game made by Warhorse Studios, and it's a full historical evaluation of the weapons, armor, clothing and building in the game, trying to understand how really historically accurate the game is, considering the fact that that is one of their selling points. If you haven't seen that video, please check it out, you might like it, link in the description below. On this video instead we'll focus on two things, gameplay and combat system. On this game, the combat system is clearly HEMA, Historical European Martial Arts, inspired, and I think they've done a great job. It's fairly basic, but what you've got stances in all positions, from all directions. You can cut from all directions, you've got a few thrusts, and some fancy moves. I think it's very well made, and also, one thing that I think is very important to remember is that this is a game, meaning that it's not a HEMA simulator. In fact, what distinguishes a game from a simulator is that a game's major point, the most important factor in the game, is that it has to be fun. Now don't get me wrong, HEMA is fun, but for a game to be fun, then you need to basically find that sweet spot in between realism and fun gameplay. So what I'm trying to say is that if you make a game 100% historical accurate, or a 100% historically accurate representation of medieval combat, it will not be fun to play. Why? Well, just to give a few examples, controls will be a problem. You cannot have that perfect reaction time. I mean, there will be always a certain level of delay. So if you make the game and the moves perfectly historically accurate, then you will die all the time. Given, this game does stress fidelity and realism, but look at it this way. It's not that Kingdom Come Deliverance is a fully complete, absolutely realistic medieval simulator, it's just a game that stretches the bar of the compromise between realism and fun gameplay further than other games. In other words, this game is trying to be comparatively realistic, not objectively realistic. Now, I've seen some people complaining about the animations on the game, the animations of the characters particularly, but personally I reckon they did a good job, because it's not perfect, but it's good enough to provide a certain level of immersion. It's quite immersive. We know that there are some bugs, but they are working on them. Number ones, Dr. Raff here. On the matter of computer animated bodies, I like to say that creating proper animation for virtual bodies is actually a lot harder than you might think. It requires time, experts, and therefore budget. That is one of the reasons why often video game companies use actual body sensors to map movement in the virtual world. But of course you can't use that sort of technology for every single animation in game, whether it be humans, objects and their physics, or animals. Virtually replicating human movement is difficult because usually biological systems are much more complex than man-built systems. Numerical studies are hence applied in almost every kind of biomechanical study, and that includes computer simulations. In other words, we tend to take movement for granted without considering the actual musculoskeletal system and its complexity. So, would I recommend this game considering the fighting system? Well, my answer is yes, but yes if you like medieval combat, yes if you are a history buff, yes if you are a practitioner of a martial art, whether it be HEMA, whether it be Kenjutsu, whether it be Kendo, then you are definitely going to love it. But if you are one of those gamers who, you're fighting but the fight is taking too long and then the opponent is not going down and you start getting frustrated and angry because of that, then probably not. In fact, if you like the Witcher style of combat, very lots of flashy moves, this kind of things, then it might not be the sort of game for you. Unless you're just into the story, then no worries. Ultimately, combat is fun, at least for me, and it's somewhat realistic, but it will be infuriating at times. It takes longer than other games to learn it because it's trying to give you a feel of realism when you're trying to hit, parry, and make a riposte. It's a combat system which rewards skill gained through the experience of the user, not just the character experience, and it is much more complex than other games. Personally, I don't mind that at all. I actually like the idea of having to get better at it. But sometimes when you see a bandit without a helmet being hit in the left eye, having an issue of blood confirming the actual penetration of the tip of my alarmingly pointy sword into his retina, and yet he still tries to... Noble ones, we're going to have a very good collaboration with Thane's Rand channel. It's going to be the ultimate test of mobility in samurai armor soon on the Metatron channel, so make sure to stay tuned so you don't miss out. Cup of tea, please. That was very British of me. I am coming to London. I will be in London from the 28th of this month until the 10th of April, eating endless amounts of trifle, visiting places of historical interest such as Madame Tussauds. I purposely pronounced the T because London is not in France if you hadn't noticed, Trafalgar Square and Piccadilly Circus. And also places of extreme interest such as Asda, Tesco and Marks and Spencer's, and most importantly, I will be visiting Buckingham Palace, meeting with the Prime Minister himself. Actually, the last part was not true. I would happily swap the Prime Minister with Toby Capwell. Is that normal? Thank you very much for watching, noble ones, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Goodbye.